An inmate at the Douglas County Jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1. To prevent calls from this facility, press 9. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. For more information about our privacy policy, please visit www.connectnetwork.com. After the beep, press 5 to accept this call. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. Stay on the line to accept this call. Thank you for using GTL.
I don't consent to the recording of my call. Any information?
Hey, Mike. No, I can't think of any information. There should be some letters on the way to you and letters on the way to wherever they had me mail them.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your help.
No problem.
Anyone that can assist in helping with the cost of postage, Rudy has sent me a ton of mail over the last week and a half to 2 weeks, and I appreciate any support for him. I've got down to my last few dollars for phone calls at this moment, so I'll try to make this quick. I do need Mr. True to send me those documents. I don't know why he hasn't done it. I'm sure he's got reasons. I need those documents. Those are the originals, and if anyone can reach out to him and see if he can take care of that. He says he's got them in an envelope, but it's been about a month now since I've asked for them back.
I'll send him a text and an email tonight. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I'll try again.
I'm sure he's busy with his family and roofing company and stuff. So I know those reasons. The audio and the screenshot of that conversation of the stuff that Trader has gotten from the audio of me, Pat, and Sue that came from the prison in West Tennessee, that information can be copied and downloaded, a screenshot made, a copy of it showing it's on his site. Forward that to Infowars, USAPrepares.com, the Second Amendment Foundation, the USCCA, anybody else. This is basically the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney, and their plant, this, what I believe is a Southern Poverty Law Center, some type of, truth twister reject out there that's basically putting this otherwise information that is not public knowledge, that would be discovery information, out into the public to try to prejudice my case. But like you said, it actually proves that I didn't know anything about anything that the Chilcotin Nation was doing until months after the fact, because
Right.
That conversation happened several months after the fact. Also,
he wants the papers back. Type in. Aaron Scott, Mr. True on Facebook Messenger, and she's typing to him now that he needs them back. He needs the papers back.
Yeah, and I sent him some copies of some forms from here. I need those back too. But what's interesting is they're coming after anything to do with the Second Amendment. Even this Russian woman who dared to join an organization like the NRA and try to take that information back to Russia and support a Second Amendment right to bear arms concept. And they're wanting to come after her. Why do they care if the Russians arm themselves for their own self-defense? I guess they don't want us to be armed. They don't want anybody armed. They just want themselves to be armed. It's pretty pathetic. A bunch of anti-freedom. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, absolute tyrants. They're tyrants, and they want to control humanity, and they don't want anybody to be able to defend themselves. But
yeah.
But I'm sorry, Mike, to interrupt, but that whole thing about them having access to that conversation, obviously you were incarcerated at the time. I just thought it was incredibly peculiar. It must have been part of some sort of discovery, and typically discovery is controlled, by the defendant. And obviously you didn't give it to him, so how he got that is just absolutely amazing.
I've never even got that audio. That's something that could be used as discovery on my benefit. I've never gotten that.
Wow.
And he's gotten it, so obviously he got it from the U.S. Attorneys via the U.S. Marshal or the FBI one, and they're all working in cahoots with this clown. Anyway, what we're dealing with, this is literally text. This is brown shirt tactics. These are what effectively you would call leftist fascists.
Yeah.
They can't stand anybody with an idea that's different than theirs, such as ours, where we wish to be left the heck alone and be free, recognizing our rights come from our Creator.
Amen.
They hate that. Even this clown that responded that even Christ had a conversation with the devil. Well, comparing you to Christ and he is the devil, obviously, he's making that analogy. At least he's exposing who he is.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brazen, but
well, traitors openly godless. Let me share this too. Mr. True just said he's going to send them tomorrow. So I pray to God that he does. I'll also try to get him a copy of this conversation. But traitors openly godless, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they have a Southern Poverty Law Center connection. That absolutely would not surprise me.
That's what I've been thinking about. What is this guy's contact? He's got too much legal knowledge. He obviously has some training. He's probably a reject from law school because I don't. There's a lot of lawyers out there that get that that barrister title, but they're just not quite ripe yet, and so they can't make a living because people don't want to deal with them. But realize this. Okay, I sent this information out to a lot of people. 2 weeks ago, I sent out 10 copies of this, and I got back verification that all of my information sent out, my mass mailing sent out to everybody except one. The Second Amendment Foundation, Alan Gottlieb, that information, I don't have verification that they sent it out. Now, it did go out to Tim Schmidt with the United States Concealed Carry Association, and if anybody can reach out to him, and AWR Hawkins with Breitbart News, his went out. They've got the information. Mr. Schmidt with USA Concealed Carry Association's got the actual motion that I wrote, which if the Alan Gottlieb folks got it with Second Amendment Foundation, they might see that this is something they can latch onto. It's the same thing as Mr. Quasi's stuff, and I think it's got legs. I think it can be utilized to demonstrate that the intention of the Congress when they passed that 1968 Gun Act was not to disarm the public. It was to prevent interstate commerce, and having to do with commerce has to do with business, large-scale buying and selling and shipping and receiving. You having your own property is not buying, selling, shipping, or whatever. So this would be a way to go after that and expose that what the Congress meant is not what the courts are interpreting. They interpret it all wrong, and we can set the record straight. Also,
well, let me quickly insert. Omar Quasi definitely believes that interstate commerce is what the crux of the issue is. He talks about that issue quite a bit. So you and him have that in common, big time.
People do.
Article 1, Section 8. Go to your Constitution. Article 1, Section 8 gives the Congress the power to regulate commerce between nations and states and native nations, not between the people, not between the people and states, and not between the people and other nations. They have no power or authority over the people.
Right.
Look there's three different groups of people. You've got the people, then you've got persons, which includes lesser status people, not the sovereigns. It includes corporations and non-living humans, subjects and slaves, and then you've got U.S. citizens. So there's three categories of entities in that Constitution, because after 1868, they no longer reference the right of the people. Never references the right of the people. It's the right of the U.S. citizen. And the people didn't become U.S. citizen. The citizen is a subject is a slave. It's a concept that people are not, familiar with. They need to consider. These are legal terms. They use these for a reason. They didn't just switch on the fly because it looked nice and fancy and we sound so much better now. No, it means something. The FBI report, in my case, the FBI report admitted that they were spying on me. Out of Memphis, Tennessee, they said via a complaint from the Tipton County Sheriff's Department, Donna Turner, former FBI agent, claimed that I was involved with sovereign citizen extremism for helping the Chilcotin as their ambassador, which is in effect a government official, i.e., the complete opposite of what the FBI, their oxymoron sovereign citizen construct is. They say a sovereign citizen is anti-government. Well, if I would be a government official, that kind of goes against anti-government. I'm against corruption in government. I'm against corruption as a whole, fraud. I'm for independent, self-sufficient, self-governing. Be that as it may, I'm helping Native Americans. That's my right. Then the FBI obtains a search warrant to search the Chilcotin diplomat transport via false information, false pretense, hearsay, and prejudice or perjury by the FBI. The whole thing was a fraud, and then they discover a rifle 2.5 months later. Come on. Tell me that they searched that plane day one. They turned the building upside down, took the ceiling tiles out, took the commode out of the floor, but yet they couldn't find a rifle in the back of a little bitty plane with the only 2 other little planes in this little bitty hangar. Come on. Are we to believe that they're that incompetent? Really?
Well,
seriously?
There are prominent people calling for disbanding of the FBI as an organization and maybe folding it into U.S. Marshals. I'm not prominent, but I am certainly one of the people that's calling for disbanding of the FBI. They are evil institutionalized.
Well, get this. I'm reading my notes here. Trump's distrusted the FBI for doing the same thing to him as reflected by his disbelief in a false Russian/Trump campaign collusion narrative created by the FBI, the Democrat National Committee, and the Department of Justice was further demonstrated by the mysterious death of a Secret Service bodyguard. Clearly, the history of the intelligence agency and the elimination of those who sought to reduce or eliminate their rogue agencies, i.e. John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan, have not been forgotten. I guess I should be lucky I only have the Southern Poverty Law Center's reject lawyers, truth twisters, as it were, sniping at me with their anti-government, anti-constitution, anti-Christ propaganda. Also, real quick, my petition to the governor of Tennessee is still sitting on his desk, and with letters from supporters requesting that he exonerate me, exercising the power that he has. Basically, the charges against me from 2009 were false. I didn't assault anybody. We were shot at. This guy shot at me and Pat and shot and killed my dog, Brandy. I did not return fire. It was too far away. I could have if I was close enough without basically jeopardizing anybody else, but I was 100 yards away. I'm a good shot, but not that good a shot, and there was a house behind him. I showed restraint. I did what I felt was right at the time, but for me yelling at him to stop shooting, put his gun down, he still got a gun. Remember, even though he tossed a rifle in the back of a truck, the dude is still armed. I never got within 30 feet of him, and it was a rigged trial. I was railroaded into prison for telling a guy to stop shooting. But if Governor Haslam would exonerate me of that bogus charge, all those bogus charges from 2009, confiscating a rifle used to shoot at me is not a crime. It's not theft of property. I gave it to the officer. It was the only thing I had to do to prevent him from reloading. But if the governor of Tennessee will exonerate me, all these current charges go away. Realize, if not for this nonsensical, claiming that I have a felony conviction, all this would not exist. This would immediately force them to release me, and then I could work on getting my wife out of prison. All right. Anybody that has any interest in providing if you're not up to speed, please go to MikeParsons.org. The information is there about that case. Please, I ask you, as sincerely as I can, I greatly appreciate all of your thoughts and prayers. If you have time, if you can write a letter of support for me, send it to Rudy via email. I don't know that if you send it here that I'd get it. I don't trust these people. My mail has disappeared too many times. I've sent multiple letters to senators, congressmen, President Trump, the Department of Justice, Office of Protocol, the State Department. I've gotten no responses. They automatically send a response. My mail is being filed in the circular file. I have no doubt. Irregardless, I'm confident if you send a copy to Rudy that we can get it to Governor Haslam, and or if you want to send it directly. Now, please, no appeasement letters. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I did nothing wrong. I'm asking for an exoneration. I'm an innocent man, plain and simple. Realize again, the Douglas County Correction Center has not sent my letter to the Second Amendment Foundation, Alan Gottlieb.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Hey, Mike, should I mail you an address of Larry Pratt with Gun Owners of America? And don't let me take you off topic in the last few seconds you got.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay.
If somebody wants to send my information to him, that's fine. I reached out to Larry too many times and never got a response. So
okay, all right, okay.
But realize, when you're over the target, that's when you get the most flack. When you see where your letters are being sent that they're not getting delivered, that's because those are the ones that are going to be the effective ones. The ones I sent to Trump, he's not getting them. Why? Because if he knew what was going on, he'd put a stop to it. The Office of Protocol, the State Department, they don't want these people to respond because they know I'm an ambassador of another country. They want to hide that fact. They want to control the narrative by silencing me. This is a way that we are heard. We have to reach out to these people. God bless everyone. God bless you, Rudy.
God bless you, Mike.
Thank you for all of your ministry. God bless the missus and everyone out there listening. Please pray for us.
Thank you for using GTL.
All right. That was Mike Parsons. He got cut off. If you understand the crime that he was charged with and you realize how bogus it is, originally that caused him to be a felon, and then you realize the charge that he's now charged with, which is felon in possession, both charges are absolute BS.
And they didn't find the gun in the plane for a month?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it was planted by the FBI.
A month it took them to find it in a tiny Cessna?
That's insane. And then also, if you take into consideration the devilish pack of son of Belial reprobate hyenas that have come against Mike and want him to stay in prison, for 8 to 10 years, and they seem to get giddy and losers that they take joy out of the imprisonment of Mike. You just realize the picture in its entirety is Mike should be free,
and
his wife should be free, and they both have experienced an incredible injustice. And this is not the country that I grew up in. It's not the America that I thought, was based on biblical and constitutional principles. And so I do pray that God works a mighty miracle to set Mike Parsons free and his wife.